Hello everyone, it is me, Louis, aka Duncan Gaming, and today I'll be ranking all the episodes of Season 1. About time too, I've been on this channel for 3 years now and I'm only just doing this. I do plan to do the other seasons as well, but for now, here's the Season 1 ranking. Now, of course, everything here is just my opinion, and I'm not going to go too in-depth as to why I like them. It's just going to be brief and just getting through the list, so without further ado, let's get started with the worst and get our way to the best. At the bottom of the list we have James and the Coaches. A very boring episode, not much happens. I guess James has trouble with coaches. I mean, there's an episode in Season 4 much later, which I'll get to in a few videos of course, but that handles the Engine and the Coaches rivalry so much better, but this episode is not that great, but it's not terrible. 5 out of 10. Thomas's Train, a very Miller type of story. Thomas is acting really foolish. I find it very hard to believe that Thomas didn't not feel the coaches behind them. I mean, they should be heavy, and that he went such a distance without actually realizing. So yeah, 5 out of 10 as well. Thomas and the Guard, this feels very similar to Thomas's Train, it's just that the visuals of the Guard are funnier and that's what makes it slightly better, but still a 5 out of 10. Thomas's Christmas Party, a nice sweet story with not very much substance to it, and this really should have had a first part instead, because that scene with Thomas and the avalanche at the beginning felt very out of place, but it's still a really nice episode. 6 out of 10. Thomas Goes Fishing. I used to like this episode more, but not that much happens in it on retrospect. I mean, Thomas gets fish in his tank is funny and all, but I remember this being a lot better when I was younger. 6 out of 10. Thomas, Terrence and the Snow. Even in Season 1, I'm a bit tired of seeing that Thomas learns his lesson from another character's story, but this is definitely the best one because it has a crash and it's got nice visuals. 6 out of 10. Edward and Gordon. A very nice introduction to Edward, and him pushing Gordon up the hill was always great to see. A really nice dynamic between Edward and Gordon set up here. 7 out of 10. Thomas and Gordon. This is basically very similar to the Edward and Gordon episode, but this one's got a lot more action and it's much better. Being the first episode of the series, of course it's going to be great. 7 out of 10. The Sad Story of Henry. Nice introduction to Henry and the Fat Controller. This is his first episode. Henry getting bricked up in the tunnel is a scene that will never not interest me. It's so good, despite what people online think, but it's still great. 7 out of 10. Edward, Gordon and Henry. A nice follow-up to the previous episode. Edward, Gordon and Henry all get their time to shine, as they are the title characters of this episode. And the reason why I probably like this more than I should is because it defeats all the criticisms normies say when Henry died in the tunnel, which obviously isn't true, proven by this episode. 7 out of 10. Cole. Definitely the saddest episode of Season 1, but it's got such a good ending. Henry having to use special coal, which makes him feel better, and it's even more amazing knowing what episode comes after this. 7 out of 10. Down the Mine. Great crash, great relationship between Thomas and Gordon, and this would have worked as a perfect season finale, and I'm just gonna say that the pilot was way better than the final episode, but the final episode's still amazing. 7 out of 10. Off the Rails. Gordon at his finest, amazing crash, funny scenes with the humans, and the Fat Controller is always fun to watch. And that night scene where James and Henry, even though he's off screen, rescue Gordon was amazing. 7 out of 10. Toby and the Stout Gentleman. One of the lesser stories from Season 1, but it's still really nice. Great introduction to Toby, and you really hope he gets saved by the end of the episode. Which he does, but we'll find out soon. 7 out of 10. Troublesome Trucks. This episode I really like because James is a badass and shows those trucks a lesson by pulling them up the hill, which was really nice to see. Not many people talk about this one, but I think it's really good. 7 out of 10. James in the Express. Right away, the narration from both dubs carry this episode. They're so funny. The way Ringo says, "Hello, Gordon, is it tomorrow?" and the way Colin says, "Hello, Gordon, is it tomorrow?" are both amazing. Really nice dynamic with Gordon and James, and this is definitely one of the best James episodes from Season 1. 7 out of 10. Thomas and the Breakdown Train. The runaway, the rescue, and Thomas getting his branch line at the end are all amazing to see. Thomas is such a hero in this episode and he more than deserves his branch line. 8 out of 10. Percy runs away. Great Percy episode, again, great runaway, and the dynamic between Gordon and Percy is really strong. A lot of these Season 1 episodes have great dynamics between the characters that other seasons are lacking. 8 out of 10. Thomas and Trouble. Thomas getting told off by the policeman is always entertaining, and Toby coming to Sodor is amazing to see. 8 out of 10. Dirty objects. It's so good seeing James being a jerk to Toby and then getting his comeuppance. It's so entertaining. The tar tanker crash is easily the best of season. Well, there's one more crash, which I think we all know which it is, but second best crash of season 1. Toby is also such a savage at the end. 8 out of 10. Thomas and Bertie. Definitely the best Thomas's branch line story from season 1, hands down. The race is great, Bertie's a great character, and I think both narrations are amazing in this episode. 9 out of 10. Trouble in the Shed. Not a lot happens in this episode, but we get Percy introduced and we got some great scenes with the big engines. Also, Percy wishing Henry is absolutely amazing, and I love this episode. 9 out of 10. Tenders and turntables. James spinning on the turntable is phenomenal, and Gordon being made fun of by the children is hilarious. Also, Thomas's remark of scrapping his tender and getting a nice bunker was also amazing. 9 out of 10. Whistles and sneezes. Definitely the funniest episode of season 1 and one of the most underrated episodes of the entire show in my opinion. Henry's sneeze is really funny, and Gordon's whistle breaking was hilarious. 9 out of 10. I wish more people would love this one. The Flying Kipper. You knew this was going to be near the top. I didn't put it at number 1 because I feel like everyone puts this as number 1, and there's another episode that I genuinely love more, but this is still amazing. Definitely the most visually appealing episode of season 1. The nighttime, the crash, and Henry coming back at the end is so satisfying. 10 out of 10. Thomas and the Trucks. This is my favourite season 1 episode. We're introduced to the Troublesome Trucks, some of the best characters in the entire show, and that whole runaway sequence is probably my favourite scene out of season 1 completely. Love this. 10 out of 10 episode. So that was my ranking list on season 1. I hope you enjoyed, and if there's any episodes you think should be higher or lower, feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. I will see you in the season 2 ranking, which I have no idea when that's going to be out, but hopefully soon.